All right, folks, this is Sultan. I have long said that people who use free speech to end free speech should not be given free speech. I understand this is a major dilemma in the West because Western civilization, or modern Western civilization, was built on certain ideals, on certain values, like free speech, the right to vote, all people created equally in the eyes of the law. But these are your golden values and they have served you really well. But they worked when everyone believed in those values uniformly across the board. That doesn't work when you bring in people who have completely different set of values. For example, Muslims. Now, they don't believe in free speech, okay? There's zero concept of free speech. If you say something against Islam, you have to be put down. In fact, you're even told to obey your caliph, even though he looks like a black raisin. Not my words, Muhammad's words. But who would tell our African Muslims who love to simp for Muhammad? So Muslims don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in democracy. They believe in using free speech to end free speech because the end goal is always to establish Sharia. And it's the same with democracy as well. Now, early on in their own countries, they outrightly rejected democracy because Islam has given them a form of government, which is the caliphate, okay? Which is not democracy. This is the reason why democracies haven't really flourished in the Muslim world as they have in the West or in the Christian world. But because democracy is a better form of government, that's why 70% of the world has some sort of democracy today, even a lot of Muslim countries. So in the last 50 years or so, they have updated their methodology. They are now saying that we need to use democracy to end democracy and establish Sharia. Not my words, Mohammed Hijab's words. A lot of Muslim scholars actually have an agreement on that. Let me play you a video so you understand this is not what I am saying. It's him who's saying this.
You can use democracy to remove democracy. The majority view...
See, there was a little cut, and I know Mohammed Hijab is going to cry, oh, you took my clip out of context. It's not out of context, and I'll prove it to you. The reason why you see these cuts here, because he has been doing this very deceptively, very cleverly for many years, and this is how he's been fooling the British authorities. So what he does, he says something, he gets a message out to his Muslim community, and then he hides behind some philosopher's quote who might have spoken something in a complete academic sense, but he's speaking in a practical sense. So this has been his modus operandi. So he would get his violent message out, but then he would say, hey, it's not my opinion, and some other people are saying it. Have a listen. I'll prove it to you how he does it and how he cries about it. Let's listen to this again.
You can use democracy to remove democracy.
Oh, see the smirk on his face? You can use democracy to end democracy. Wink, wink.
The majority view throughout the world of scholars from all
Islamic scholars,
all schools of thought, is that democracy can be used instrumentally. Now, there's a difference between using something instrumentally as an instrument and believing it's true fully.
So you don't have to believe in democracy, but you can use it as an instrument. So let's use democracy. Let's put up Muslim candidates in America, in Britain, Australia, everywhere, and are fucking idiot politicians. I'm sorry, this makes me so angry. Like, do our politicians not see this? These people have been saying this for many, many years, and they just look the other way. As I said, you have a dilemma. I get it. You have a dilemma. We have certain basic Western values, free speech, the rule of law. All citizens are equal. But come on. You see that? Let's use democracy to end democracy as an instrument. We don't believe in democracy. Yeah, they don't believe in democracy. They believe in the caliphate. They believe in a khalifa, kind of like ISIS Baghdadi. This is why we tell you that ISIS did absolutely nothing that was un-Islamic. ISIS was 100% Sharia compliant. Whatever ISIS did was 100% Islamic. And these people are propagating basically the same ideology in the West. They're not some Johns and Smiths listening. There might be some idiot lunatics who might be thinking about converting to Islam. But the vast majority of these people are Muslims, are Western Muslims. They're listening, drawing inspiration from him. And Mohammed Hijab is rallying the troops. And our pathetic Western leadership does absolutely nothing. Imagine some neo-Nazis hired a hall like this and gave a speech to 100 or 200 people like that, where they were discussing how to use democracy to end democracy. Our end goal is fascism, and we're going to reestablish the Third Reich or Fourth Reich. Imagine that. They will shut them down. But what about these people?
We make a decision to remove democracy through democracy.
See that? See that smirk? He knows he's protected. He knows I can say this. And well done to whoever edited this clip, because he took out the distractions where he would say, oh, some other scholar said this. I'm not saying this. You know what? This is how it happened in the past, but wink, wink. He took out the exact meaning of what he was trying to say. Now, Mohammed Hijab is a slippery son of a bitch, so he does this cleverly. Not that clever. Like, I mean, I've been observing him for many years. I just don't understand how our authorities can't really get him on anything. I just don't understand.
Every Muslim on earth believes in the Sharia of Allah. Every Muslim on earth believes that democracy is evil and Sharia is the good.
So first of all, this opinion is wrong. There are a lot of Muslims who are Muslims for emotional reasons. But those Muslims are irrelevant, okay? They're neither here nor there. Because unless they drop the label that I'm a Muslim and I'm an ex-Muslim, we're not interested in your benign or useless nature. You're worse than useless. But there are a lot of Muslims who listen to these people, who live in the West, who hate the West, who hate democracies, and they say, we're going to spread Islam. I mean, just imagine if you are a brown person who grew up in a Western country, you are living below poverty line, you don't pay any taxes, you hate the West, you hate Western civilization, you can't go out and socialize because you feel guilty. Then all of a sudden, an imam like this guy or Mohammed Hijab comes around knocking and tells you that, hey, you know what? I have a new purpose of life for you. Let's spread Islam. Let's conquer the West. These people have killed our brothers and sisters in Kashmir, in Gaza, in Libya, in Iraq, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, they're like, yeah, I want to be a hero. This is it. This is my newly found purpose in life. I'm going, Allahu Akbar. Imagine that. This is why this is a highly radioactive ideology. And the longer we put it off, the more violent and brutal we will have to be in order to crush it.
Some Muslims, they say, we could use the evil of democracy against democracy. So break a democracy from within. And we say, no, you can't break a system with a system.
See, at least this guy is an honest imam, okay? He's not as slippery as Mohammed Hijab. He's saying, no, that would be hypocritical. We have to be honorable, okay? We have to defeat democracy in a fair fight. But Mohammed Hijab is saying the opposite. He's saying, we can use democracy to end democracy. So all these woke, purple-haired lunatics who vote Muslims thinking that, oh yeah, they're just like us. They're gonna be so pro-LGBTQ. You idiots. You freaking idiots.
I just started reading the Quran and I am so excited about it. People thought when I first asked that I just wanted to read it out of curiosity, but I want to read it to study it. I started following somebody on social media that teaches the Quran and hosts a Quran book club for Muslims and non-Muslims, so I'm really excited to start going to that. She was describing the chapter of the bee and that just blew my mind. Like the way that she describes things, the way that the Quran describes things actually makes sense to me. And also, did you know that Allah is beyond gender? Did you know that actually scholars believe that there are two Qurans, the Quran of nature and the Quran, the actual book? And did you know that each chapter is named after a natural phenomenon? I don't know, this whole book is just blowing my mind and I am so excited. I got sticky notes so that I could mark out things that I was drawn to.
You idiots. You freaking idiots. You have no idea what these people have. And these are rough and tough people. They're not like your ordinary white conservative Christians who kept rescinding ground to their progressives over the last 150, 200 years or so. And I'm actually grateful for that. This is why I have a lot of respect for Christianity. I may not be a Christian, but I have a lot of respect for Christianity. I truly buy the concept that Western civilization, even secular liberal democracies, they have been built on Judeo-Christian values. If Islam had conquered the West, we would have never seen secular liberal democracies. That would have never happened.
You throw away the system and you install a new system.
There's a group in UK, they say the real jihad is to vote. It's the argument some people say. First build ourselves, then we can fight. No, how can we compete? They'll say, look, they've got satellites, they've got bombers and jets, they've got all of this technology. How?
As the Islamic regime of Iran is about to find out.
can we compete with them? So we need to first build ourselves.
We have to first build ourselves. We have to infiltrate the corridors of power. We have to put up congressmen. We have to put up candidates, MPs, councillors in Britain, France, and Germany. And then when we have hollowed them out from the inside, we'll get them.
We live in the West, accept Western values and embrace it.
Well, Western values are liberalism, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, fine. But you just said now you don't accept them.
Yeah, no, I don't accept that is an ultimate truth.
Does Sharia come first? Islam come first?
No doubt about it in my mind. No doubt about it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Look at his boyfriend. Freaking idiots. Clowns. Stupid clowns. You know what makes me so angry is the fact that they are so openly hypocritical about their approach that our inaction, the inaction of our establishment or our politicians, is such that has given them even more confidence in their bullshittery. They actually think that they're pulling a fast one over you, when we can clearly see that they are full of nonsense. It's hypocritical. If you believe in Sharia, go and live in a Sharia-infested country. Go there. You don't believe in democracy. You don't believe in free speech. Why are you using free speech? Why are you living under a democracy? So simple, so clear-cut. But they know that we have our constraints. Rule of law, free speech, everyone's equal in the eyes of the law. Everyone has a right to vote. We are relying on the goodwill of honest radical Muslims, like the second Imam I showed you, who said, no, we shouldn't use democracy to dismantle democracy. That would be hypocritical. That's actually honorable. The second Imam was actually very honorable in his approach. But those kind of honorable people don't exist but those kind of honorable people, and by no means he's good for us. He is probably slightly less dangerous to us than these slippery jihadis, cryptic jihadis like Mohammed Hijab, because they're more slippery. They're telling you that we're going to use your tools against you. So Mohammed Hijab is going to cry about this. He goes, oh, you edited my clip. You took it out of context. No context is missing. I'm 100% certain, because I know this mentality. This is exactly what they mean. So there was another video that I played in my last video, and he's been crying about, not because of me, he's actually angry at the person who originally edited the video. So his boyfriend, Smile to Jannah, came up with the real version versus the edited version. Look at this. Let me tell you, yes, the video was edited, but his context was not misrepresented. His point was not misrepresented. The only bits that were taken out were his deceptions, where he could use plausible deniability. Oh, well, that's not me. You'll see what I mean. Watch this.
The concept of martyrdom, then I would consider that to be an advantage, frankly.
See, that's the edited version. Now, the next bit was taken out because he said the concept of martyrdom is an advantage because you have the initiative. But now he's going to throw in something else so he doesn't get caught up by the authorities, and he can tell the authorities that, hey, look, this is not what I meant. Look, I was quoting someone else. Listen to this.
Because as Robert Greene said, the one who's willing to commit suicide has the initiative. Now, I'm not saying...
No, I'm not saying, see, the plausible deniability. Look at the smirk on his face. He's saying exactly that, but he's only giving a disclaimer, so authorities can't actually pin him on that. So well done to the guy who took out these distractions, these deceptions. He took them out. Answer me one thing, hand on heart. Has his message been altered or not? That's the point we need to see.
Suicide, anyone? How I got him here. I'm not talking about suicide.
He knows, see? Oh, they'll get me here. But no, I'm too clever. But you're not really that clever, Mohammed Hijab, because we can take these distractions out. Well done to open source Intel who did this.
Here, bro. I'm just saying figuratively, the one who's willing to take it further. The concept of...
What do you mean figuratively? That's exactly what you meant. That's exactly what you meant, that a martyr is at an advantage. A person who's willing to die for a cause, a martyr, a very honorable status in Islam, has the initiative because he's got nothing to lose. If you're willing to lose your life over a cause, then there's no more deadly force than you. And that is exactly the point that is honed into young suicide bombers. You're going to go to heaven. And once you have a suicide bomber ready to blow up in a crowded marketplace in Jerusalem or run over people at Christmas markets in Germany, no one can stop them because you're willing to die. You have the initiative. That person has the initiative. That's exactly what he meant. And he later on was crying that, oh, look, they edited the clip. Yeah, we edited the clip. We took out your deceptions. Look at this. Look at him. What a pathetic creature. Look at him. He's crying. Watch this. Look, he's sitting with his boyfriend. How closely they're sitting. We'll get on top of each other. Listen to this. Look at the smug face. We know you're hurting Mohammed Hijab. This fake smile is not going to get us anything. But look how pathetic this video is.
On a page called Open Source Intel with 912,000 followers.
Where is that based?
It's not just Israel, it's northern Israel.
Oh, subhanAllah. Well, I'm so glad that people from northern Israel are thinking about the champ, because...
The champ? Who? He's referring to himself as a champ. This gorilla has beaten a couple of fat amateur fighters, and all of a sudden he thinks he's Muhammad Ali. The champ! Oh my God.
Look, let me just tell you something, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
The Quran tells us, with certain people, we have to hate them, innit? We hate you.
Ooh.
I actually...
Well, how old are you? He's actually 30-something years old and is a 7-foot overgrown gorilla. How pathetic of you to say to whoever this no-name guy is, open source intel. How pathetic it is that you have to say that, I hate you. I hate you. You edited my clip. I hate you. You are a 7-foot overgrown gorilla. At least act like one. Have you ever seen a crying gorilla? Here it is. I hate you. I hate you. And look at this one. Look at this clown. And it's not a flex as he thinks it is, because he's arrogant. He thinks that, I'm going to act like gorilla. I'm going to break a few things. I'm going to shout at you, and all of a sudden I'm going to win the war. That's not how you win wars, you idiot. Otherwise, you would have won Gaza. You would have won in Libya. You would have won in Iraq. And you would have been living in one of your prosperous, beautiful Islamic countries. You don't. Because your countries are shitholes. They're founded on shitty ideals like these. I hate you. I don't know. I hate you. Christianity, on the other hand, I'm not a Christian, but I can appreciate that ideology. It's like, oh, you got to love. This is the reason why we see Christian priests. I know a lot of them have been found to be pedophiles as well, but at least I'm just talking about the optics. Christian priests, they're so softly spoken because they're always giving off this energy that, oh, you know, love thy neighbor, love each other. Anyway, he's just crying. He just keeps on crying. Forget about him. There's another video. I think this video is not edited at all. Bob is another good one. He keeps uploading his videos, his sermons. They're rallying their troops. They're not going to win, though, because it's pretty pathetic. But listen to him. How he's actually shaming those Muslims, the one that I spoke about earlier, that they are peaceful Muslims who don't take Islam that seriously, but they are irrelevant. But they could very easily become relevant because people like Mohammed Hijab are constantly guilt-tripping them for not joining in their jihad. Have a listen.
Islam is encouraging you to do this kind of thing. To really, like, if you're afraid, especially with things which are obligations in Islam, like this might sound controversial. It's a Quran that effectively dispraise and call out believers. They are not interested in fighting for the cause, etc.
Yeah. Muhammad even guilt-tripped a Muslim who didn't want to go to jihad. Muhammad even tempted him with, I forgot his name. He's like, oh, so-and-so, do you not want to capture some blonde-haired sex slaves? And then he said, oh, I'm already such a womanizer. If I go there, I wouldn't be able to control myself. Basically, that guy was a massive sex addict. So he said, no, I don't want to go, but here it is, some money. Actually, there's a very funny Quranic verse. Muhammad was actually shaming people for not going for jihad, and they wanted to sit back and look after their farms, etc. So Muhammad was actually shaming that, you know, the people who go to jihad have a higher elevated status in the eyes of Allah than the ones who don't go to jihad. So all of a sudden, a blind man who was listening to the sermon, he said, what about me, dear prophet? I'm a blind man. I can't go to war. And then Muhammad suddenly, conveniently got another revelation, an update from Allah. Oh, except those who have some sort of a disability. If that is not evidence of making up Quranic verses as he went along, then I don't know what is. This is how severely deluded these people are. This is why these people They keep thinking that Allah is going to come to their rescue. So let's go and attack the Jews. And the poor Israelis, they're sick and tired of breaking their delusion, defeating them over and over again, proving to them that, hey, there's no Allah coming. Even if there is an Allah, he's not on your side because he keeps letting Israel win. But nobody can defeat a delusion as strong as the Islamic delusion.
If an ayah comes down and fighting is mentioned inside of it, you see the people in whose hearts is a disease.
Cowardice.
So Allah is referring to this as a disease.
Which is Muhammad, as I said. Muhammad is actually shaming those people who are not willing to go to jihad and die for his cause. You know why there were no Muslim conversions in the first 10 or 15 years? Only 30, 40 people converted to Islam. Because there was no incentive for them. The moment Muhammad started raiding caravans, that's when more and more people started joining, because Muhammad promised them war booty. And suddenly these poor peasants started enriching themselves because now a man had come from within themselves who had legitimized robbing caravans, which was outlawed up until that point. As David Wood says, the most obvious fake prophet in the history of humanity.
Disease of the heart. What is that disease? Cowardice. Can you imagine? Because what else could it be? It's cowardice. The point is, Islam expects us to function in a certain way. Men and women. Unfortunately, we as men have a crisis because we don't have the opportunity to do these things.
You do have the opportunity. Go to Gaza. You should have gone to Libya. You could have gone to Afghanistan, as Osama bin Laden did. So many Mujahideen did. But you're a coward, Mohammed Hijab. You are a big, fat coward. You had plenty of opportunities to go to these Muslim lands. A lot of these Muslims did go to Muslim lands.
And so we need to really expose ourselves as men, if we want to build ourselves and our communities and our societies, to frightful situations.
You're not going to any jihad, Mohammed Hijab. We know you're a coward. You ain't going to join ISIS. You ain't going to help out your brothers in Gaza. You're not going anywhere. This is just bluff and bluster. But let me tell you one thing. A time will come when you will be grabbed by your collar and you would be given an option, either go to jail for 10 to 15 years for your crimes, for causing social disruption. We will make new laws. Or renounce your citizenship and go to a shithole that you admire. That's it. That time will come. It will happen. There's no way in hell that the greatest civilization humanity has ever come up with, which is Western civilization, will just quietly roll over and hand over the keys to 7th century primitive people. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen.